So, picture this. It's 2008, and a team of archaeologists are in a remote cave in Siberia. They find this tiny little fragment of bone. They figure it's nothing special, maybe from a Neanderthal. But when they run the DNA on it, wow. They uncover a secret that completely rewrites the entire story of humanity and reveals a lost human relative we never ever knew we had.
I mean, what if, way back when, our direct ancestors weren't the only advanced humans walking the Earth? What if there wasn't just us and the Neanderthals, but a third, much more mysterious branch of the family? A branch that, in some ways, might have been even more advanced than we were.
Because here's the craziest part. This lost relative, they're not completely gone. I mean, yeah, they vanished from the planet tens, thousands of years ago, but they left behind a little piece of themselves. An echo, a ghost, hidden deep inside the DNA of millions of us living today.
And we're not talking about some tiny, insignificant trace here. For people in places like Tibet, Papua New Guinea, and Australia, scientists found that up to 5% of their DNA comes from this lost group. Now, that proves our ancestors didn't just bunk into them. They had families with them. So who exactly were these mysterious people?
This intermingling, this DNA sharing, it's really the first major clue in what you could call a genetic ghost story. And it's a discovery that just completely flipped our understanding of the human family tree on its head.
To really get how big of a deal this is, we've got to rewind the clock. We need to go back to that cave in Siberia and take a closer look at the first tiny clue that brought this whole mystery to light.
And things moved so fast, it's incredible. In 2008, they find the bone. The scientists just assume it's Neanderthal. But then, by 2010, the DNA results come back, and they are an absolute bombshell. It's not Neanderthal, and it's not Homo sapien. It is something totally new. And since it was found in the Denisova cave, this new human got its name, the Denisovan. And just let this sink in. This entire world-changing discovery, a whole new branch of humanity, it all came from this one thing, a tiny piece of a pinky finger from a young girl who died 50,000 years ago. Amazing. This discovery didn't just change the story, it completely blew the old one to pieces. We used to think it was a simple tale, just us, Homo sapiens, and our cousins, the Neanderthals. But the new reality is so much richer, so much more complex. There was a third major player on the world stage, and we knew basically nothing about them. So, armed with just a few fossil fragments, a finger bone, some teeth, a jaw from Tibet, a skull from China, scientists began this incredible detective work, trying to piece together who or what the Denisovans really were. And right away, the first clues suggested something pretty extraordinary. Based on skull fragments, they estimated the Denisovan brain was roughly 20% larger than ours. Now, a bigger brain doesn't automatically mean smarter, of course, but it definitely hints that their minds might have worked in a fundamentally different and maybe even more powerful way. And the other physical clues? Just as stunning. A jawbone they found in Tibet was twice as thick as a modern human's. Their teeth were absolutely massive, unlike anything seen before. These weren't just a slightly different version of us. No, they were physically powerful, robust beings built for a very different world. But their real superpowers were hidden in their DNA. For instance, you know how modern Tibetans can thrive at 14,000 feet? Well, that's thanks to a special gene called EPS1. And it turns out they got it directly from the Denisovans. This shows that for our ancestors, interbreeding wasn't just a random encounter, it was a crucial survival strategy. It was like borrowing a genetic blueprint to conquer tough new environments. Their DNA also seems to have given them a better immune system, and some scientists think might have even slowed down their aging. Okay, so a powerful body and some unique DNA, that's one thing. But honestly, the most mind-bending piece of evidence they found in that Siberian cave had nothing to do with bones. It had everything to do with what they created. 70,000 years. That's the estimated age of an object they found in the exact same layer of the cave as that Denisovan fingerbone, an object that by all accounts simply should not exist. What was it? It was a beautiful, polished green bracelet. But the part that made scientists' jaws drop was a tiny, perfectly straight hole drilled right through it. Experts say that to make a hole that precise, you would need a high-speed rotary drill. We're talking about technology that we thought was invented tens of thousands of years later.
To give you some perspective, one expert said finding this bracelet was like opening an ancient Egyptian pyramid and finding a brand new iPhone inside. It's so technologically out of place that it just forces us to question everything we thought we knew about the Stone Age.
And listen, this bracelet wasn't some kind of fluke. In the very same cave, they also found the world's oldest known sewing needle, 50,000 years old, with a perfect little eye carved for thread. And on top of that, polished beads and engraved stones. These aren't the tools of simple cavemen. No way. They are the clear products of a culture that had advanced planning, a sense of beauty, and almost certainly a complex language. And the mystery just keeps getting deeper. In the areas we think were Denisovan homelands, there are these enormous, perfectly cut megalithic structures. Some researchers think the Denisovans built them. Now, mainstream science often dismisses these as just natural formations, but they show a level of engineering that just seems impossible for that time period.
All of this brings us to the biggest question of all. If we have all this evidence of a physically superior human with advanced technology and a sophisticated culture, where did they all go? Why do we only have a handful of bones left?
Right now, there are two main theories. The first one is pretty tragic, but it's a story we've seen before: prehistoric genocide. The idea is that around 40,000 years ago, aggressive groups of Homo sapiens moved into their territory and, well, wiped them out. The second theory is that the Denisovans actually retreated from these violent newcomers, isolating themselves in remote mountains, where they were eventually hit by a global catastrophe.
That catastrophe is known as the Younger Dryas event, and it happened about 12,800 years ago. We're talking about a period of sudden, violent climate change that caused massive global flooding, the kind of world resetting event that you hear about in ancient myths all over the world. It's very possible this event wiped out the last pockets of Denisovan civilization.
And if that theory is true, then their entire world, all their advanced tools, their art, their language, their knowledge, it was all just buried in an instant by mud and water, completely lost to time. All that was left with a few scattered fragments that managed to survive.
Which, of course, brings us right back to where we started, with one tiny, almost insignificant piece of bone found in a dusty cave. A bone that completely rewrote the story of our own species. And this discovery really leaves us with a profound final thought. I mean, if a whole lost world and a forgotten species of human could be revealed by a single tiny bone, what other incredible truths about our own past are still just waiting right beneath our feet to be discovered?